Hello, my name is Susie. Welcome to my channel. It was not my initial intention to have a long comparison video as my first video. I did actually have a nail tutorial filmed, but unfortunately it was right around the holidays and everyone knows that the holidays can be crazy, and then I had 2 nails break and then I just had to cut all my nails off. And I do keep my nails naturally long, so I have to wait for them to grow back, but as soon as they do I will have a nail tutorial up, I promise. But yeah, I really hope you enjoy the palette comparison swatch. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Open it up. So first color we're going to swatch is Gilded Ganache. Just going to swipe that right there. The sparkles are coming out a lot more here than in real life, and the brown is actually a few shades darker than what it's showing up here. I mean, the sparkles do come out and it is like a gold sparkle, which I really love that with this kind of brown is a nice gold sparkle. I think it makes it like really great. Alright, next up is White Chocolate. White chocolate you may not really see on my skin just because it'd be a good match to my actual skin tone. So you can kind of see it here, but it definitely matches my skin tone pretty well. After that, we have Milk Chocolate. I like how creamy they feel. Alright, we're just going to swatch Milk Chocolate right there. Milk Chocolate is coming up pretty close to how it is in real life on camera. Might be a shade or two darker, but I'm really loving that color because it's got like kind of that warm tone to it. Next up is Black Forest Truffle. Alright. Black Forest Truffle, it has the similar shimmer as in the Milk Chocolate, but it is a little darker. Again, it's more darker in real life than coming up on camera. It's still really gorgeous though, and could be a lot of fun to play with. After that, we have Triple Fudge. So we're just going to swatch Triple Fudge. It's coming up more patchy on camera than it is in real life, but it is actually a really good like mid-tone brown, and I feel like a lot of people could use it just like in the crease. We're starting off with Salted Caramel. We'll just give that a swatch. Again, I feel like this color is coming out a lot more patchy on camera than in real life. I think it's like a really nice light brown. You could almost call it like it is pretty much a caramel color. If you really wanted to give it another name, it could be like a peachy color, but when I think of caramel, I think of something pretty similar to this color. After that, we have Marzipan. Marzipan is a really gorgeous shimmer, and I definitely think that that's coming through right now. It is very similar in color to the peach, or not to the peach, to the caramel color, but I really think like you could do a lot of fun things with it. After that, we have Semi-Sweet. Just give that a swatch. Unfortunately, Semi-Sweet, like the other mattes, are looking really patchy on camera, but trust me when I tell you that they're not patchy in real life. It's a nice, darker, cool tone brown. It's not patchy. It actually is really smooth and creamy. After that, we have Strawberry Bonbon. Strawberry Bonbon, it doesn't really come up on my skin. It also doesn't really come up on camera. I'm kind of disappointed. I wish it was as pigmented as this, but I know that light pinks like this can be really tricky to work with. I definitely feel like if you use like a colorful base like NYX Milk, it'll come up really vibrant, but on its own, I don't think it's going to come up that vibrant. If you do something like underneath it or something on top of it, I think it would really work out. Then after that one, we have Candied Violet. So Candy Violet, it is a very violet color. It's just not coming up that way on camera for some reason. I mean, the shift is really nice. It also has sparkle in it. I think it's a really fun color. I don't really know if I would necessarily use it with the colors in the palette, but I would definitely use it in general with other looks that I've done. So after Candied Violet is Amaretto. I'm just going to swatch Amaretto right here. It's a really nice satin color. I really love it. It's got like a reddish pinky tone to it. I don't really know if you can pick that up on camera, but I really do enjoy it. I think it would make a really great color for the lid if you were going to use some of the like other dark colors. On the third row, we have Hazelnut. Hazelnut is a very mild brown, as you can see. I feel like it is a good solid crease color. Like, even if you don't want to pick up this palette, you need this color in your life, because it's just going to be like a good base to any daytime look that you do. After Hazelnut, we have Creme Brulee. I love all shifty satiny golds like this, but in particular I'm really loving this one. I feel like these three colors right here, that is an eye look. I'm definitely into monotone eye looks if you can't tell, but I just love the shift to it. After Hazelnut, we have Hoot Chocolate. Hot. I think they were trying to do like hot chocolate, but not regular hot chocolate because it's spelt differently. All right. We're just gonna swatch that right here. Again, I'm loving the shift. I love satins. I'm gonna say I probably like satins more than anything else next to just straight up glitter. But I love the shifts of these two. So after Hoot Chocolate, we have Cherry Cordial. So swatch that right there. It's coming up pretty true on camera. It's not swatching the best, but I feel like with a brush it will come out a lot better. Yeah, it's just kind of like not my favorite color out of the bunch, unfortunately. But I feel like there's always that one color in palettes that you're like, meh. After that, we have the final color, and it is the Champagne Truffle. We're just gonna swatch that right there. I'm loving the Champagne Truffle. I think its shine is so gorgeous. It does have a bit of a pink tone to it, which I think is kind of having a hard time picking up on camera. I don't know if that helps, but it is gorgeous. I do think this is a very gorgeous color, very creamy. It's like all the other satins, so I'm obsessed. The Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar. So we're just gonna open it up. First up, we have Licorice. Licorice is just a matte black. It's a lot blacker on my skin than is showing up on camera. It's just a good basic black that I think you kind of need in your makeup collection. Up next, you have Coconut Cream, which is basically their brow color for this palette. Don't really show up there. Up next is Nougat. There's Nougat. It's a really light brown, and it doesn't show up that well, but I feel like it's a good transition color. After Nougat, we have Truffled. Truffled is a really good medium brown. I feel like it's pretty indicative of these palettes. But I still really love it. It's matte. It's not as patchy as showing up on camera, but it's really nice and creamy, and I think a really good crease color. After Truffled is Hot Fudge. So Hot Fudge is just a dark brown. It's really nice and creamy. I really love it. I feel like this is going to be a really good, if you wanted to work with the black, but you didn't want it to be like really dark, this is going to be a really good option to help blend it out. Up next we have Cocoa Chili. I like that name, Cocoa Chili. We're just going to swatch that guy right there. This is kind of the first like shimmery color in this bunch. The shimmer is really low key, but I actually still really love it. So after Cocoa Chili, we have Pink Sugar. So as you can see, Pink Sugar doesn't show up at all. like, at all. It provides mostly just like a shimmer, like if you can see that shimmer there. That's all it kind of provides, which is kind of sad because I would really love a light color like this. But at the same time, I can understand why the pigmentation is so hard to get. After pink sugar, we have pudding. Pudding is just a nice kind of like gray brown. It's again not as patchy as it's like looking on camera. I think this would also be like a really great crease color if you just honestly wanted to do like define your crease, do a winged eyeliner, and out the door. I think that's going to be really good for it. Up next we have Blueberry Swirl. Blueberry Swirl is kind of a light color. I feel like you would need to do a few coats to get it up to like high pigmentation, but definitely possible. I like it a lot. I like the sheen it has. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about it. I like that they do give you a few fun colors in all the palettes because they are so neutral. After Blueberry Swirl, we have Peanut Butter. Peanut butter honestly reminds me of the color of peanut butter. It's like a great little orangey brown. I think it would pair really, it pairs really well with this whole palette. Alright, after peanut butter, we have Rum Raisin. And I'm loving that shift, that satiny color. I was wrong, we missed a color. So in between Rum Raisin and peanut butter is actually frosting. Don't know how I missed it. So I'm just going to swatch it right here. So that's frosting. It's not as, and it's actually a little bit darker. It reminds me of straight up like chocolate frosting. Alright, up next is Mousse. Just gonna do that right there. I really like how light Mousse is. I feel like, you know, with some of the cooler tones, they're so dark that if you just popped in a little bit of light color, it's really going to give the look more dimension. I think it's honestly another great crease color. After Mousse, we have Caramel or Caramel or however you want to say it. Swatch that guy right there. I'm loving that. Like that orangey, shimmery color. I'm all about it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think it would pair really well with a lot of neutral looks just to give it a little more pop. After that, we have Bon Bon. I think Bon Bon is just a more toned down version of Caramel. I really like it though. I like the sheen and the shine to it. Again, I feel like this is another great lid color, or if you're already using this as a lid color, maybe like blending it out into the crease with this color. Last but certainly not least, we have Buttered Pecan. Or pecan, however you say it. This is very shimmery, which I love. Again, like you have your base lid color and then you have your bone or brow bone highlight. I like that this is more yellowy, considering the other one was so pinky. Third is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon or Bonbons palette. All right. So let's get started with our swatches. First up, we have Almond Truffled. Almond Truffle is just a really great kind of a beigey brown, if you will. Let's see if I can get better light on that. It's just like a little beigey brown. I feel like it'd be really good crease color. After that, we have a Satin Sheets. Now, if Satin Sheets sounds familiar, it's because it is. It was in the Too Faced Boudoir Eyes palette, which is still available. And that's just a really great, it's more pink in person, but it's like a pinky shimmery color. After that, we have Sprinkles. It's more pigmented pink in person, kind of like that like really candy pink that I was looking for in other palettes. It has a really good color payoff. Unfortunately, it's not showing up in camera too well. After that, we have Molasses Chip. Just gonna swirl my finger in there. I am loving it. This is coming pretty true to color. I love the gold shift in the warm brown. Really good shimmer to it. After that, we have Malted. It has a really good kind of like shifting glitter in it. I think it's to help it make it blend better, but it could also be to give it like a little pop. I really love it. I think it's a great crease color. Like these two together in an eye look would be amazing. All right, then on the next row, we are starting off with Cashew Chew. It's pretty hard for me to see Cashew Chew on my arm, so I'm not surprised it's having a hard time coming up on camera. It is really shimmery, which is what I like. I think it has like a lot of great uses as like decorative, kind of for that eye look. Up next we have Cotton Candy. I like how Cotton Candy is kind of like a more baby pink version of Sprinkles. It has a lot more of like a satin finish to it, but still a really fun color. After that we have Cafe au Lait. At least I hope that's how you say it. Or Cafe Latte or something like that. I like, in the pan it's like a little more like gray, but here on the arm it like turned out to be more like a taupe. But I still really love it, and I love satin finishes, so to me I think this is absolutely gorgeous. Up next we have Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a lot more creamy than it's showing up on camera, and it's a bit more maroon, but it is like a maroonish brown color. After that we have Mocha. Mocha is a nice like light brown, really creamy, really pigmented. As you can see, like these both go really nicely together for a nice neutral look. Like these three together, if you blended it out, would be a gorgeous daytime look. Next we have Black Currant. Black Currant, it's not really coming through. You get some different lights. But it's a nice shifting, shimmering purple. Alright, and on the last row, starting up, we have Dark Truffle. I like how dark truffle is, but how light the shimmer and shift is. After that, we have Pecan Praline, or Pecan. And that's just like a gray matte. It's very light, and I think because my veins are there, it's pretty hard to see. But it's a very nice like light gray matte, which I feel like could go really well into blending out some of like the darker colors in the palette. After that we have Totally Fetch, which is also from a different palette. It is from the Pretty Rebel palette, which you can't get anymore, so if you missed out on it, it's a good way to at least get like one of the colors out of it. It's a nice like hot pink color. Fits with the overall palette very well because like these two pinks are pretty light, so if you want to do something more intense, you have this nice like hot pink in it. Up next we have Earl Grey. I like how Earl Grey is kind of like a blue-gray color. I feel like you don't see a lot of these. And it's definitely like, I'm loving these two together. Like, I keep staring at them together. So I definitely want to try and create a look involving those two. And last but not least, we have Divinity. Alright. So there you can see Divinity. I think this is just a good overall lid color, especially if you have discoloration in your lids, or you can see the veins like you can with me. It's just a really good lid color. If something blended out too harsh, maybe you could use that to blend it out. Last, but certainly not least, we have the Sweet Peach palette. As you see, the setup inside is still very similar, except that you no longer have those two big shades. I'm much more excited to have two more extra colors in a palette. That being said, let's get on with the swatches. First up is White Peach, and White Peach, I can already tell you right now, is going to be really similar to all of the other like bases, as in you're not going to be able to see it really on my skin. You can see it a little bit because it has some like shimmer and some sheen to it, but it honestly just matches my skin really, really well. Up next we have Luscious. I love Luscious. Like, I'm loving that satin, that shift. It's gorgeous to me. I'm in love and I'm obsessed. After that we have Just Peachy, which, does anyone use that saying besides me? I feel like I used it more as a kid, but I still kind of use it. So I love this color. It's very peachy. After that we have Bless Her Heart. I like how like some of these are like country-ish sayings. I think it's adorable. So Bless Her Heart is kind of like an earthy dark green with a silver shift. It's like a brown green. I wish there was a more true green in the palette. But after that we have Tempting. And Tempting is just a black, basically, with some shift to it. I think that shift is honestly just to help it blend better. I don't necessarily think a palette like this really needed a black. Alright, after Tempting, we have Charmed, I'm sure. So, Charmed, I'm sure, is like a shade or two darker. I really like it for a brown. I think it would pair really nicely with like these peachy satiny colors because it's a matte. So it's going to give you your look more dimension. After Charmed, I'm sure, we have Nectar. I love how yellowy Nectar is. I feel like it's really going to complement with these orangey, pinky peaches. Just to give it like some nice contrast. And I love, of course, the shimmer. Up next we have Cobbler. Again, Cobbler is just a really great orangey brown. I think these three together would look really nice in an eye look. Up next we have Candied Peach. Candied Peach is a lot more pink on my arm. It does have a little shift to it, but I think it's just to make it blend better. I really like that they put a somewhat matted pink in it. Up next we have Bellini. Bellini is a really great shimmery pink, but it's not like a bright pink. It's like a darker pink with kind of like an edge to it, I want to say. After Bellini, we have Peach Pit. So Peach Pit in the pan looks really purple, and in person it's like a brownish purple, but for some reason it's only coming up brown on camera, and I don't really know why. It is like a brownish purple, which again I feel like is a color you don't really see in palettes. Up that we have Delectable. Delectable is a purple matte with like a shift to it to help it blend. It's a lot more like creamy and solid on my arm, though it's coming up on the swatch. I don't really know why it's coming up so patchy. It's actually a really gorgeous matte purple. Up next we have Peaches and Cream. I think Peaches and Cream is hard to see on my skin just because I'm very yellow toned, but I do like the color itself. I definitely can use this as like a lid color, or, you know, just to help blend things out if I felt things were getting a little chunky. Up next is Georgia. Georgia is a very light pink. I can see it on my skin, but it's very hard to see it on camera. It's a very light pinky peach color. After Georgia, we have Caramelized. I love how satiny Caramelized is. It's definitely more brown. Like it's not nearly as gold or shimmery as it's coming up on my hand. Up next, we have Puree. Puree, it's a lot more solid than what's coming out. It's not as patchy, but it is a very light brown. It's got maybe a slight shift into it, again, just for blending purposes, really. Up next, we have Summer Yum. Summer Yum is a reddish brown, almost like a burnt brown matte. Last, we have Talk Derby to Me. Talk Derby to Me, I'm very disappointed in as a color. It's not opaque. I can keep trying. It takes quite a bit to get just to that. But I mean, it's not what you're expecting. Because look how dark it is in the pan. And then look at it here. There is a purple shift to it in the pan, and so that's kind of what you see on my hand, but it's very patchy. It's not consistent. I'm very disappointed with the color. If it's one of the colors like their cat eye palette where you can use it wet, I think that might make it a little different because it does feel very dry. But honestly, it's kind of like the one dud out of the palette. 1 out of 18, you know, you're still doing really well. One other thing I forgot to mention is that you can also follow me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I do have a Twitter, but I don't really use it, so Instagram would probably be the best thing for you to follow me on. Also, if you ever hear any meowing or barking during a video, I do have 2 cats and 2 dogs, and they do not always understand that I'm trying to do stuff. But yeah, they're really sweet and adorable, and you may see them from time to time. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the palette comparison swatch review. I certainly had fun filming it. I know it was a little fast. I honestly could have made this video like 90 minutes long and really gone in depth about everything, but I didn't want to do that to you. So I kept it really short, really fast. If you want me to go in depth, I totally can. These palettes have been out for a while, except for the peach palette, but it's all up to you if that's something you want to see. I do have quite a few other things planned to have fun with makeup, but I am more than willing to change the plans for you guys. If you liked this video, hit the subscribe button, and all the information about the palettes, where to find them, and all that will be linked in the description box below. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see y'all soon.